pass a gun show shutdown of Washington State when this guy has a troop of armed bodyguards. These are predators. And now they want a bunch of desperate, starving people from collapsed third world countries to come in and to be given driver's license and voter IDs and be allowed to go out and vote. And then the illegals, until that happens, they're allowed to fly without driver's license. That was confirmed by the TSA last week. The document was made public via FOIA, what we already witnessed for a year and said. And why is that important? Because now the feds are announcing you've got to have a federally approved ID card, a national ID card, by 2016, or you won't be allowed to fly. If West Virginia and other states pass laws saying we're not going to have biometric systems, it's already verified and checked, the feds just give the illegals the cards, then you can't fly. So citizens can't fly, but the illegals can, and they have the nerve to have Governor Jerry Brown to all Mexicans, to illegals, come here. Governor Brown to Mexican illegals, you're all welcome. You're all our children, even though 70% are teens or children. Mexican president calls for immigration reform, but I can't come to your country. I can't come to Pretty Boy's country. I can't come to Nito's country. Is that how you pronounce it? Pene Nito. I'm pronouncing it wrong. This is at an end. It's about and only about a matter of justice for those that contribute so much to the development of the American society. Yeah, no, it's true. These immigrants on average work their butts off. They're not as spoiled as third or fourth or fifth generation Americans. I don't care what color they are, but it doesn't matter. I've seen the statistics. Their kids get even more spoiled. And we should kick everybody off welfare so that everybody isn't spoiled. It doesn't matter because the folks brag they work the system. The illegals brag they work the system. The dad goes out and works all day, and then mom collects welfare. And you could say, well, at least then they've got a nice truck and a nice house. I guess in a way, it is better than the welfare crowd. The problem is, and I'm going to skip this network break and go to John Bound, is they vote, Pew Research, 92% of the time for everything the globalists want. Open borders, gun control, an end to private property, forced inoculation, abortion, which isn't even Latin American culture, the good parts of it. They've been pro-life, pro-family, a lot of common sense stuff. Man, you're going to take the corrupt Latin American culture and merge it with the eugenics culture? You're going to take the corrupt parts of it? Man, this is a nightmare. This country will be a living hellhole. But let's set all that aside. No other country's opened its border up like this. This is lawlessness. The feds are getting away with literal felonies, smuggling of humans. As the heads of the Border Patrol have said, the Border Patrol completes the smuggling process. But you or I, regardless of what color we are, when we got the insurance, got the driver's license, pay all the taxes, play by the rules, we are thrown into the system because we're known as chumps. Warren Buffett doesn't pay taxes. He wants you to pay more. Warren Buffett pays to move Burger King to Canada, but talks about buying in America. It's all a sick joke. Now, joining us from California, ahead of Larry Elder, we're skipping this network break, is John Bound reporting from Napa to give us his breakdown on what he's witnessed since he's been there. And we've got a lot more coming up in the next few days. They're going to Bohemian Grove. They're going to check out the Rothschild area. She just died last Saturday, the day before the earthquake. One of the heads of the Rothschild dynasty who openly wore devil necklaces and Baphomet necklaces and the rest of it. It's just important to do a focus on this family while we're out there. And then we're also going to go down to the nuclear reactor that the feds say should have been shut down, but didn't shut down, right on a major fault line. John Bound.
John Bound reporting for Infowars.com. We're here in the historic Napa, California downtown district, where just earlier this morning, a 3.9 aftershock hit around 5 a.m. As you may well know, or you may not, but people need to realize that the ring of fire is exploding. It is getting worse. The cancer is growing. The doctors, if you will, the seismologists, the scientists that are out there saying, look the other way, are now saying, yes, the big one's coming. We are 150 years overdue in the Ring of Fire for a 7.0 or greater. The Ring of Fire, if you're not aware of it, extends from Patagonia all the way up to Alaska, all the way over through Asia to Australia. And Iceland is right now seeing a volcano of magnificent proportions, and we may be feeling that here in California. The people that we spoke with yesterday, these neighborhoods that have been affected, the folks that are getting together and realizing that they have to work together in order to take care of their neighborhoods and take care of each other. When you look at their streets, small town America, working class, blue collar folks dealing with the fact that they've got to help their neighbor get his house together. Then he's got to, after he's worn out, come back and fix his house. Woman was injured. The injuries are escalating around here. They weren't just 100, what was it, 120 injuries? It's escalating. There are more and more people that are injured, and with the aftershocks, there may be more injuries. But we're going to head towards Berkeley later on tomorrow. We're going to also go to the Rothschilds later today and head over to Bohemian Grove and take a look at the symbolic nature of the earthquakes, if you will. We'll have a deep report on that and the history of the Rothschilds and their significance here in this part of California. The significance of these earthquakes that people need to realize is that they are growing, especially in 2014 they've grown, and with the supervolcano that we just realized is actually twice the size of what was reported in Yellowstone, could lay a 10-foot layer of ash over this entire country. It completely destroy, knock off California and send that into the ocean. Of course, we've always joked about California going to the ocean, but people need to realize that that may be coming very soon. It
is undoubtedly in the cards. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. It could be another 5,000 years. But there are a lot of islands off the coast of California that have elephant skeletons on them, mastodon skeletons on them, pygmy mastodons, all sorts of other animals, where parts of California have broken off before. There's all sorts of underwater islands that are pieces of California that have been breaking off for a very long period of time. And so the point is, we're just letting people know this is happening. Here's CNN. Is California's big one coming? That was the headline last night. Los Angeles awaits earthquake that could be the big one. A megaquake in America's second most populous city is long overdue, and 50-year-old buildings could come crashing down, killing thousands. That's why we're drawing attention to this and why were nuclear reactors built on it. Hundreds of aftershocks in the last 3 days, 125 just in the North Bay as of this morning. And as you pointed out, one of them was over 3 on the Richter scale, 3.6, others above 2. Simply amazing that this is happening, but really not amazing because this is what goes on in these zones. John Bound looking at this, talking to the locals. My big concern is what's going to happen if there was an 8.0 or so to hit L.A. Or hit Southern California or hit San Francisco. Undoubtedly, most of the old buildings will collapse with people in them. You will then have nuclear reactors that will start going critical. And the feds won't even try to fix them. They'll just say radiation is good for you. And you're a conspiracy theorist if you think 2 + 2 = 4. It's that I have no confidence in the system to respond to something. And you talk about the supervolcano in Yellowstone, where its giant caldera is part of 4 states there at that area. And we're talking about hundreds of square miles. They know the last time it exploded because they've got the ash and rock cloud. In fact, guys, let's pull up the last eruption, if we can, of the supervolcano.
Back in March of this year, there was the uplift.
That's right. It's been coming up, but the last time it blew, they estimate that it burned about 1/3 of the country completely down, shot giant rocks over the equivalent of scores of states, and had a dust cloud all the way down to Louisiana of several feet deep, like you were just saying. And then it caused an ice age. So again, scientists are now saying it's due for another eruption. We're not saying it's going to happen this year or 50 years from now. The problem is, though, is that it's rapidly rising right now. There it is. Shot fire, shot rock, shot multi-foot dust cloud all the way into Canada, as far west as Southern California into Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, Texas covered all the way over into Louisiana, Arkansas, Tennessee. I mean, this is a serious situation is all I'm trying to tell people. Our Earth is not stable. Shoemaker Levy that went into one of the big gas giants a few decades ago, Jupiter, that broke into dozens of pieces, blew holes in the atmosphere bigger than the Earth. Scientists had said it was every million years one of those hit. Now they say it's every few thousand. That's why you have Plato reporting on Atlantis saying it existed. And of course, Plato was a historian. This was not rumors. We know these disasters happen more often than the establishment's saying. They know that as well. John, do you think that could be one of the reasons they're building all these underground bases in places like the Ozarks where they believe they're a lot safer?
Yeah, you read my mind. They're basically leading everyone into a giant hell pit of their own making. Because why would you create a nuclear facility called Diablo if you weren't serious about killing all of us, putting it on a fault line where you have to put nuclear waste for 10,000 years?
Yeah, why would you bury a big waste facility and a big reactor right on a facility, right on a canyon called Devil's Canyon?
And everyone's so damn smart out here, excuse the language. It goes in cycles. It goes in 150-year cycles where they haven't had a 7.0 since 1680. Well, we're due for a big one.
Well, that's what the scientists are saying. I mean, I hope that's not the case. Can you imagine the bedlam? And the feds won't be helping anybody, according to Katrina logic. They'll be going into the nice homes and robbing all the weapons and jewelry. Yeah,
while our president golfs and while Dick Cheney fishes. Absolutely.
Now, we're going to play a Stan Deyo clip here in a moment. But, John, I mean, how many homes have been damaged? How many buildings? I'm told it's hundreds.
Well, when we go into this neighborhood later today and finish our interview with these folks, it's from one street to the next. And a few of the people that I spoke with didn't want to be on camera. They talked about the fact that their neighborhood is right on the Napa Fault. They built the neighborhood right on the Napa Fault. So you're going to see, it may have the B-roll, it may be rolling it now, but you're going to see this neighborhood and how it was affected. Now, this area here was affected because of the shock and the old buildings. There's no retrofitting in these buildings. These are newer homes that we were at today, or will be at today and we were at yesterday. And you're going to see the sidewalks are pushed up out of the ground. Streets are unusable. That and the inside, the terror that these people experienced. 26 seconds of sheer terror. And it's hard to even understand what they're trying to explain to you. It's not like you're just being moved around. It's, you don't know where you're going. You don't know what's falling on you. You don't know if the house is coming down. I got to tell you, just staying in the hotel last night, which we got a rate on, a cheaper rate on, which had no TVs in it because they were all destroyed, and the hotel next to us was closed because the water main broke. It's an eerie feeling being here, knowing that at any second now.
Well, John, we're going to check in with you towards the end of the next hour. Again, move on to your next destination, but great job for you and Leanne McAdoo. We'll follow this with you the next few days as you travel up and down the breadth of California. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, before we go to break and come back with Larry Elder and shift gears into the social destabilization that's going on, Stan Deyo was on yesterday, but we didn't play this clip. This is him back on April 11th, and his predictions have been frighteningly accurate, predicting what just happened there in Northern California. Here's Stan Deyo from earlier this year.
Certainly, you can see from just looking at that we have activity starting to increase in the northern part of Oregon, southern part of Washington, and at the very tip of northern California, at where the Juan de Fuca plate is. And that's the reason that we have a great deal of concern for the area there for tsunamis and damaged infrastructures, because the Juan de Fuca plate is the only one of all of those earthquakes you see there around the Ring of Fire, the only one that is not released. It's Richter 9+ stress in the last 55 years. Everyone is watching that site if something triggers it.
Yeah, California, what will happen conservatively compared to other... We're going to play more of this later after Larry Elder leaves us, but that was him in April specifically saying what the next place would be, and he was accurate. And by the way, these earthquakes, hundreds of them, the last 3 days, did not trigger it yet. If it triggers, I mean, it'll be spectacularly destructive.
We're on the march.
It's what we're watching.
Empire's on the
Stay
run.
with us, Infowars.com.
Alex Jones
PrisonPlanet.com.
and the GCN Radio Network.